Blue, the freshman from Madison Memorial, continues to have an outstanding campaign for Marquette.
He's done a phenomenal job. The scary thing about Vanderblue is he's so young and he's got such a complete package. He's only going to get better as time goes on, but he sees the court very well. He finds all the angles into the paint, and he's got great anticipation in the passing lane to see him get out there and get the steal for the dunk going the other way.
Vanderblue and Darius Johnson-Odom with 16 points apiece on Saturday. Now, DJO has not hit the three like he did last season, but he's finding other ways to contribute.
He is. He's doing a very solid all-around job defensively for Marquette, and that's the key for playing time for any college basketball player. It starts with defense. The more you work and the more things click defensively, the more things will come to you offensively.
Marquette will be shorthanded at guard tonight. Both Reggie Smith and Junior Cadogan out with illness. Tip-off coming up next from Milwaukee. It's Marquette against Mississippi Valley State from the Bradley Center. Stay with us. Beautiful December night in Milwaukee. We're inside the cozy Bradley Center for Marquette against Mississippi Valley State. Dennis Krause along with Jim McIlvaine on this Christmas week. The Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State are 1-9. They're coming off an 85-60 loss at Kentucky. Kentucky is where their head coach, Sean Woods, played quite memorably, as will develop through the evening, as you see his record as the head coach of the Delta Devils. His starting lineup features a familiar name to Milwaukee basketball fans. D'Angelo Jackson played at Milwaukee Pius. He is their leading scorer, almost 11 points per game. Buzz Williams in his third season as head coach of the Marquette University Golden Eagles. Just 2 more non-conference games before Big East play. Tonight and then next week, a challenge at Vanderbilt of the SEC. And Buzz Williams goes with the same starting 5, Jim McIlvaine, that he used Saturday against Centenary. Keep in mind, Reggie Smith, Junior Cadogan, not even here tonight because of illness. So that's what Buzz goes with.
That does limit him a little bit, but it's opportunities for the guys that are healthy and able to play. Vanderblue, Dwight Blanks, Darius Johnson-Odom are all going to see a lot of minutes just because of the absence of those other 2 players. And as we get closer and closer to the Big East, it's an opportunity for these guys to really solidify some playing position in the coach's rotation.
Marquette averages 80 points per game, allows about 65, a very limited series history. Marquette winning both previous meetings, the last one coming in 1991. So as the starting lineups continue to be introduced here in Milwaukee, we get ready for this non-conference affair. Mississippi Valley State averages 61 points per game. They allow 81. It has been a struggle, and it has been a vagabond existence for the Delta Devils as They've been on the road literally all season. Their only victory coming on a neutral court.
Yeah, they're not going to play a home game until January 8th when they've got Alabama A&M coming in. But this is what they have to do every year. The money that this team earns as they go around and play these other BCS conference schools really funds athletics for all of Mississippi Valley State. So it's a necessary evil, but it does help prepare them for their own conference season. And they've got a pretty good squad, pretty deep. They could go 12 deep today.
Speaking of deep, check out the Big East standings and how they have fared in non-conference play, and you realize what Marquette is about to face come January 1st when conference play begins.
Yeah, every year you hear talk about this conference is up, this conference is down. Just because of the sheer size of the Big East, it's always going to be, if not the top conference, very close to it, just depending on the point of the season. There's just so many good teams at the top 5 of the top 10 teams right now, Big East teams. But, you know, I take that with a grain of salt because, you know, do the coaches really have time to watch all those other schools that they're voting on? Do the media guys have time to watch San Diego State games and say, yeah, they're a top 10 team?
Well, how's that for a page 2 when you've got programs like West Virginia and Marquette there on page 2 as far as your non-conference standings? Buzz Williams getting ready for this one. Marquette legend George Thompson filling in for Jim McElvain on radio tonight with Steve the Homer True, and we're about ready to tip it off. Jimmy Butler, and quickly it goes to the Delta Devils, and off the tip, the basket by Kevin Burwell.
And understand, Sean Woods is a Rick Pitino disciple, so he likes to get up and down the floor. That's part of the reason you'll see him go 12 deep. He likes to get guys moving up and down the floor, trying to score and push the tempo.
That tip was controlled by Jason Holmes that set it up as Darius Johnson-Odom gets off to a quick start. So both teams have tallied in the first 30 seconds. Spinning move by Burwell, swatted out of there by Vanderblue.
Hit that one hard. Barely kept that in play.
Get it a man-to-man. Philando Jones tries a 3. DJO with the rebound.
You'll see Mississippi Valley State running man-to-man quite a bit as well.
Jimmy Butler. And the rebound cleared by Jason Holmes, who averages 8 points and 6 rebounds per game for the Delta Devils. 3 from the corner, way off for Smith.
You're not afraid to shoot it, though.
Maybe he should have been. DJO for 3. And that's what Marquette would like to see a lot more of.
And it's there. Everybody knows it's there. His coaches do, his teammates. He knows it's there. It's just a matter of it working for him, and it's working for him so far tonight.
Penetration and the block again by Vanderblue.
Vanderblue on pace to break my school record for block shots in the game.
With a lot less size than you had to work with, and that helps create a turnover, so Marquette ball. Golden Eagles, 3 blemishes on their non-conference schedule. Duke, Gonzaga, both of those in Kansas City. And then here a couple of weeks ago at the Bradley Center to Wisconsin. Crowder inside. And the rebound taken down by Orlando Smith. Up ahead quickly, score it, and a foul for Philando Jones, a junior from Greenwood, Mississippi.
Well, you have to give credit to Mississippi Valley State. They're doing a great job of limiting Marquette to one-shot opportunity and then getting it out quickly and going to the other end. We talked about Pitino's pace of game and how Sean Woods likes to play up-tempo, and we're seeing it early on.
Dwight Bikes picked up the foul. Jones averages 5 points, 4 rebounds per game, and ties it up at 5. Pressure in the backcourt by the Delta Devils. Trying to take Marquette out of rhythm.
Another hallmark of Rick Pitino basketball. Pressure full court for 40 minutes if you can.
Butler has it taken away there as D'Angelo Jackson stripped it. It's a homecoming for him out of Pius by way of Creighton, Green Bay, and Fort Smith Community College in Arkansas along the winding road to Mississippi Valley State, and then back to Milwaukee for this game. Tries the three and hits. Welcome home, D'Angelo.
He's got quite a few family and friends, I'm sure, sitting behind the Mississippi Valley State bench tonight.
Blue is fouled.
And he's their leading scorer. You see that confidence, recognizes the shot is there, willing to step up and take it.
As a senior at Pius, averaged 18 points per game, was second-team All-State, first-team All-Area. As a junior, he actually led the Popes to the state tournament in Madison. Burwell with the foul as Vander Blue hits the first.
We're going to see Jamel Jones check into the game very early. He had a very nice offensive out in the Centenary game. I think career high 11 points, 3 of 4 from long range. Looks like he was going in for Vander, but Vander missed the shot, so they stay in a little while.
That was 11 points in 11 minutes. As Jackson that time a little too fancy, turned it over. DJO slipped. Wow, amazing he didn't get hurt on that play. Able to keep his balance. Up ahead, quickly sprinting out, and missing is Orlando Smith. So a lot of activity, but no points out of that exchange. Blues jumper. And a push-off going to be called underneath.
I think that's
Kevin Burwell.
Yeah.
Burwell's second foul. There's that slip we were talking about. That's the kind that you can really mess yourself up with.
Yeah, he went to plant on that left foot and nothing was there. Tried to make something out of it, but it just couldn't happen.
Jamel Jones in. Hit 3 threes in that game against Centenary, and Buzz Williams says he's really starting to get it. It's tough for freshmen to figure out all the demands and what's expected. But Coach is pleased with his progress and hopes to see the same from Devontae Gardner. Crowder's jumper is no good.
And you know, there's so much to get in college basketball. People look at a stat sheet and say, well, what is it, points, rebounds? And it just goes way beyond that. Positioning on the floor when you don't have the ball, where you're supposed to be defensively, what your rotations are, where you're supposed to help, when you're supposed to stay at home. And there's so many things for these young minds to absorb.
Jackson misses the three. By the way, Paul Crosby, wearing number 32, has checked in for Mississippi Valley State. Talented junior, 6'8", out of Lansing, Michigan. Jones. Dwight Bikes. Bikes and D'Angelo Jackson with a history from playing in the city of Milwaukee together. Terrence Joyner is also in for the Delta Devils. And they now have taken a 10-6 lead as the basket goes to Paul Crosby.
Coach Sean Woods had said if Crosby had his academics in order as he came out of high school, he'd probably be playing for a Big Ten team right now. He's a very talented young man.
Crosby gets the foul. As you look at Sean Woods, has to be pleased with the start for his team. They lead Marquette by 4.
Fans, while online at GoMarquette.com, make sure to look for the PNC Bank highlight of the week and tune in for the best in Marquette athletics. Please welcome to the game, Buzz's Bunch.
3rd Street in Milwaukee looking good this Christmas week, and so is Mississippi Valley State in the first 5 minutes or so of this game, leading Marquette 10-6. And Jim, right off the opening tip, they have kind of set a tone.
Oh, very quickly. Not just like getting out in transition, but getting those rebounds and quickly moving the ball up the floor. And when the big guys are out running, that's going to give you some trouble. You're going to have your track shoes on tonight for this game.
6 points in the paint so far for the Delta Devils. Marquette off to a 2-for-8 start. As you look at Sean Woods in his 3rd year, a member of the Unforgettables, that 1992 Kentucky team of Rick Pitino. And we'll have more on that a little bit later in the broadcast. Yes, his number 11 hangs from the rafters at Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky. Quickly for Marquette, Jimmy Butler scores off the inbound, well drawn up by Buzz Williams in the timeout.
Very well done, and just a mental breakdown for Mississippi Valley State. You can't let that pass come into the lane off a baseline out of bounds.
Nice pass inside, and they get 2 out of it from Philando Jones.
And surprisingly, Paul Crosby in just 2 games, I think all he's played is 2 games, averaging 5 assists. Mississippi Valley State really needs that as a team. They're averaging 19 turnovers a game. They're not getting the assists, and it's great to have a big man that can come in and help you in that capacity.
Dwight Bike's 3 is short. Rebound cleared by Jason Holmes. Holmes had 10 points in their loss at Kentucky. Sean Woods played briefly in the NBA with the Indiana Pacers. And that's an and-one opportunity for Philando Jones, who's been impressive early. 7 points already for Philando.
You see the big man make the no-look pass underneath.
And this one was the play that just occurred as Jimmy Butler picks up the foul.
And you've got to recognize that dribble penetration. Meet the ball handler outside of the lane. When you're inside and you try to draw that charge, it's very rare that you're going to get that from the officials.
Well, we're only a little over 5 minutes in, but I have to imagine that Buzz Williams is thinking to himself, we've talked about 40 minutes of consistent play, and they're not off to that kind of start tonight that he's looking for.
No, it's 40 minutes is going to come in another game. It won't come tonight, but there's still plenty of time remaining, 36 minutes, and we'd like to see this team put together as many of those minutes as who they are as possible. And he talks about that quite a bit, playing like we know we're capable of playing and playing with the identity that we know we have, and teams slip in and out of that sometimes, especially in the early season.
Chris O'Toole came in and scored, but it is answered by Paul Crosby. Crosby had 8 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists against the Wildcats of John Calipari in Kentucky. 6-point lead for the visiting Delta Devils. Crowder's floater, no good. Marquette keeps it. Marquette coming off that win over Centenary.
Now another opportunity for Mississippi Valley State to stop the baseline out of bounds play.
Travel on Dwight Bike, so turnover by Marquette, and a chance for Mississippi Valley State to build the lead. They have played a rather robust schedule. Their only win on a neutral floor over Georgia Southern. They've lost to Georgia, Indiana, St. Mary's of California, BYU, Butler, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Kentucky.
Yeah, but the upside of that is they're not going to come in here and be awestruck and be worried about the name or we're playing a Big East team. They're playing some of the top teams in the country and certainly the top conferences in the country, and they're battle tested at this point in the season.
Well, you go to Rupp Arena and you play in front of at least listed over 23,000. You're not in awe of many situations as Vander Blue gets the rebound. Blue tries to take it all the way and does.
An aggressive move by the freshman, but he saw the opportunity in the opening, and certainly your best chance is when the defense is not set. They're running back in transition, and he exploited it.
Marquette looking for a spark. Crosby backs down O'Toole.
A good job that time by Chris O'Toole holding his ground.
EJO underneath to Jimmy Butler, fouled hard. He'll go to the line.
Almost like a quarterback DJO just came down, knew Jimmy Butler was going to be in that vicinity. It was almost a blind pass as he lobbed it up there, and Jimmy Butler just went after it. Jason Holmes picked up his first foul.
So Jimmy Butler to the line, where he's hitting 77% this year, averaging 15 points, 7 rebounds per game. Crowder right back in for Mike, so a bigger Marquette lineup with a front line of Otule, Crowder, and Butler, and DJO and Blue in the backcourt. Again, you're going to see maybe some unconventional lineups with the illness with Reggie Smith and Junior Cadogan. Really only 9 available players and 3 guards for Marquette tonight.
And whenever you've got a player like Jimmy Butler on your team, you've got a guy that can play all 5 positions. That's a great thing to have.
Off the turnover, DJO misses. Marquette gets it back by Jimmy Butler. DJO to Crowder, and Marquette pulls within 1.
Great hustle play. Jimmy Butler just hanging around. Picked off that pass, and then knew DJO was down there, and DJO drew the defense for the dip.
Underneath to Crosby, who's double teamed by Butler and Crowder. Somehow got it out of there to Jackson, and a nice little short jumper by D'Angelo.
And you can see how the big fella Crosby picks up those assists. He's got good court awareness.
Crowder thought about a 3, and he's hit his first 3 in 9 straight games, but didn't pull the trigger, and Otule puts it on the floor. Always a dangerous proposition for a big man. Knocked out of bounds. Marquette will have it when we come back to the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Marquette scoring here, but down 3 to the Delta Devils. Mississippi Valley State leading Marquette by 3 here in Milwaukee. And before he came over to the game tonight, Jim McElvain getting in his usual skate. Versatile, multi-talented athlete.
I've got those training skates with dual skegs, but
what are we looking at here?
Well, you see the double team here. Chris Otule is going to get the ball on the post, and D'Angelo Jackson's all the way on the weak side. Chris Otule looking at Jason Holmes, thinking he's going to drop down, but boom, right from behind him. He didn't even see him coming, and his teammates have to communicate that to him. Jimmy Butler's got to be yelling, a double team is coming, letting him know so he can make something happen and pass the ball out quickly, because somebody will be open.
Marquette fortunate that wasn't a turnover, as they still have it. Jimmy Butler is fouled as D'Angelo Jackson reached in. D'Angelo had 17 in that loss to Kentucky, their last game. 5th team foul on the Delta Devils with 11:28 left in the first half.
When you see the Delta Devils defending baseline out of bounds, they don't guard the ball. They leave a guy open out there. And that allows Marquette the opportunity to get the ball in the paint, as we saw Jimmy Butler do on 2 plays prior.
You would think that Sean Woods, who played for Pitino, would learn to guard the ball, but that's a whole other story that we'll show you later. Crowder. And a whistle, a blocking foul, so Jay will go to the line. But Buzz Williams just raves about this guy, Jay Crowder, as you look at Sean Woods. Very energetic young coach, resplendent in the pinstripes. Cox got the foul as first, but Coach Williams, Jim, talks about Crowder and how important he's going to be to this team this season.
He really is. He brings a phenomenal rebounding presence, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes at either end of the floor. He just makes good decisions. He recognizes when the shot is there to be taken or when he needs to pass the ball and rotate it. And defensively, he's there to help his teammates and creates a lot of space down low that makes it easier to grab rebounds.
Splits the free throws, which is pretty much on par. He's just 57% from the line this year. That's an area he'd like to improve, as Marquette has pulled within 1. Mark Holmes is now in for Mississippi Valley State, brother of Jason Holmes, both from Chicago.
I'm sure they've got some family here as well.
Shot clock at 8. Jackson guarded by the bigger Butler, and now Otule comes out on him. 2 to shoot. They're in trouble, and they're not going to get it off. Great defense by Marquette.
And that was keyed by Chris Otule. His man came up to set the screen. Chris jumped out big, and Mississippi Valley State, instead of reacting by attacking the slower, larger defender, they backed up to the half court. Chris Otule closed in on that trap, and it was a scramble at that point, and they just couldn't recover. Mississippi Valley State didn't even get a look at getting the shot off.
Dwight Bikes back in. He'll run the point. It was interesting. We were talking when the season started about finding minutes for 3-point guards, and 2 of them are 6, so a lot of minutes, plenty of minutes for Dwight Bikes tonight. Jimmy Butler was open. Instead takes it a little closer, and that's good judgment. He scores.
Nice little pump fake, got the defender off his feet, and it was just catch-up. Jimmy put the ball on the floor, and they just tried to defend from behind, unable to do it.
Marquette into the lead at the halfway mark of the first half. Otule awkwardly comes down, but gets the rebound. 9-2 run the last 3 minutes for the Golden Eagles. Knocked out of bounds. Marquette will keep it. Eric Williams checks in for Marquette. We showed you him in the open tonight. He was one of the guys who contributed on the boards in their dominance on the glass against Centenary.
Now we see what looks like a 2-3 zone by Mississippi Valley.
Crowder's bounce pass is knocked out of bounds by the Delta Devils. Yeah, you can keep a camera on Sean Woods almost all night. He's up and around and very active. When you play for Rick Pitino, I guess a lot of that rubs off, because we know how Pitino strolls the sidelines. Vanderblue, yes, and a foul.
What a beautiful play. It all starts with Darius Johnson-Odom out on the wing, pump fake, froze the defender. And you see it right here, put the ball on the floor, then he's got to get help rotation, and as soon as that rotation came, he just kicked it to the baseline, saw Vanderblue open for the layup.
Mark Holmes with his first foul. Vander 62% at the line this year. Has 6 points tonight, and Marquette's lead is 4.
He's certainly capable of far better than 62%, and that'll come. He's a freshman, and for some guys, shooting free throws at this level is one of the biggest transitions they make.
Vanderblue thought he had a clean strip. So did Buzz Williams. It happened right in front of him, but they call the foul instead. Actually, they call it on DJO, his first. So Vander was not the one called as Mark Holmes leaves. And Philando Jones back in. Mississippi Valley State had the early lead. Now they're down 4. Let's see how they respond to adversity, keeping in mind they've lost 9 of their 10 games. Bikes. Clever move.
Nice. Slashed into the middle. Mississippi Valley had players in position. They weren't able to make it. Sean Woods doesn't like what he sees. He's calling a timeout.
As you look at that drive by Dwight Bikes, have you noticed this year, Jim, it seems like Dwight is less and less settling for the outside jumper and attacking the basket more?
Well, it's a higher percentage shot, and you know that he's taking what the defense gives him. You can't blame him for doing that. Would it have been a bad shot if he took it? Yeah, but he had a better option, and he went for it.
14-2 run for Marquette, now enjoying their biggest lead. Inside Marquette basketball with Buzz Williams is an all-access look at the Golden Eagles basketball program this week. An interview with junior forward Jay Crowder, also a feature on the academic program for the Golden Eagles. You can see Inside Marquette basketball coming up tonight at 10:30. Also a couple showings tomorrow morning on Sports 32. Your home for Marquette University athletics. Always fun to tape that show with the coach, and we hope it gives you an inside look at the Marquette basketball program. Points in the paint. Marquette with a slight edge, and they now have a 6-point advantage overall after this 14-2 run. That's a 3. Attempted, but no good by Terrence Joyner. Devils keep it. Like that all-Milwaukee matchup, Jackson and Bikes. Whistle on the drive by Philando Jones. He'll go to the line.
We saw a little bit of an adjustment last time defensively from Marquette. As soon as Paul Crosby caught the ball, Marquette was coming from the opposite side with a double team. This time, you can see the dribble penetration. Players there to help, but not there in time.
Eric Williams with his first foul.
And you can't fault Eric too much. He's trying to battle and get across the lane, and just got hung up with Jason Holmes and couldn't get to the position in time.
Philando Jones has played well early tonight. It was interesting looking at his numbers so far this season. Shooting 28% from the field, up to 9 points already this evening.
And really, Jackson, Joyner, Burwell, the only guys that are regular three-point shooters on this team, at least with any accuracy and consistency.
DJO for 3. 8 quick points tonight for DJO.
And it's good to see. You like to see him coming on as we're getting closer and closer to the Big East. 47%
on threes last year. Tonight, he came in at 26% for this season. It's been a glaring drop-off. His one shining game, the Milwaukee game across the street, when he terrorized the Panthers for 29 points and was red hot. But other than that, for the most part, he's been searching for his stroke. Eric Williams jumper.
That's his spot. He loves that baseline jumper. We see that from him. I don't know if he's got a more favorite spot on the basketball court than those mid-range baseline jumpers.
D'Angelo Jackson's 3, no good, but kept alive in there. And a strong move by Paul Crosby. He'll be at the line when we come back, but Darius Johnson-Odom finding the range here tonight as Marquette has moved out to a 9-point lead. Marquette leading Mississippi Valley State by 9. The Golden Eagles started 2 for 8. Since then, 9 of 12. Dennis Crosby with Jim McIlvaine. And Jim, what are you going to show us here?
Well, we're going to take a look at Paul Crosby's last post-up. He catches the ball, and notice the white jerseys paying much closer attention to him. Dwight Bikes drops down right away. As soon as he dribbles, he's taking swipes at it. Crosby can't take that second dribble. He's got to pull up out of rhythm and take that jump hook. But Marquette paying very close attention to him, not wanting to give him a lot of room to operate in the low post. He's already got 4 points. He's already got 2 assists, and he's probably going to get a couple more points here at the line.
Crosby hits the first. Marquette shooting 55%. Mississippi Valley State at 40%. Lead is now 7 for the Golden Eagles, who trailed earlier in this contest.
And Marquette's got limited film on Crosby. He's only played at the Arkansas and Kentucky game, so they don't have a good scout on him compared to the other players, but they know he's a certainly capable low-post player and a good passer.
Jimmy Butler awfully hard to stop when he can get to the rim like that.
And Marquette just doing a great job right now attacking Mississippi Valley one-on-one, forcing their players to defend the ball, getting into that paint area, and great things are happening for them when they get those paint touches.
Terrence Joyner out of Mississippi. Started his collegiate career at Eastern Utah. Bikes out of there with it. Off the turnover. Dwight takes it himself, and it's blocked. Boy, getting back there, Jason Holmes with the rejection. And underneath, the foul on Otule trying to stop Paul Crosby. Let's look at that block.
Well, just an athletic hustle play. Dwight Bikes got out there, but give credit where credit's due. Jason Holmes made the effort, got down there with a tremendous play. That's tough to do. You say that with the left hand. He is left-handed, but to be able to go across the offensive player and get that block shot without hitting him too much with the body to draw a foul is a very difficult play to make in basketball.
Otule will sit with 2 fouls. DJO also checking out as Jones and Crowder re-enter. Crosby against Crowder and just muscles it over him.
And that time Marquette did not come with the double team, gave him room to operate, time to get into rhythm, and you saw the outcome.
Butler loses the handle, and here come the Delta Devils. Bad pass, and they turn it over. So Marquette catches a break there as that stops a little bit of momentum that Mississippi Valley State had going. Crowder thinking about a 3, but decides not to. Jones. Now Crowder, and he does it again.
The streak continues. Tell him, Dennis.
10 straight games he's hit his first 3. Now, we won't talk about after that, but the first 3 is always true.
And he's shooting 40% from the field, I'm sorry, from long range on the season. That's not too shabby for anybody, let alone a big man.
Well, I'll give you a little hint. He's 1 for 14 after his first attempt, but that first attempt is always good. And so is that. The 3 falls for Kevin Burwell.
And back-to-back plays, we saw the ball go into Crosby. He scored on the previous one. That last one, he got the kick out for the open jumper.
Hey!
There we go.
Crowder hits back-to-back 3s. And he's up to 10 points already. So the stat we just gave about how after the first attempt his shooting percentage goes way down, at least for that shot, does not hold true. A long 2 is no good there for Terrence Joyner. Marquette's double-digit lead now. Crowder again. Yes, and a foul.
En fuego.
3 threes in a row, and this time a chance at a 4-point play.
The cardinal sin has been committed in college basketball. Fouling the 3-point shooter.
Crowder almost single-handedly breaking open this game. Crosby gets his second foul. The long-range marksman.
You can do a lot of things in college hoops, but you can't compare Duke basketball to Nazis. That's wrong. And you can't foul 3-point shooters.
I'll take your word for it. floater in the lane and a friendly roll for Joyner. He comes in averaging almost 10 points per game. Well, you look for Crowder, don't you? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
This time, down low. Oh, wow. That time he shows his versatility as it was a strong move inside.
Trying to make an adjustment defensively. When a player gets hot like that, you got to get the ball out of his hands. You just got to throw defenders at him and make him give it up. And Mississippi Valley State just not getting anything of quality offensively right now.
11 straight points for Crowder for Marquette. Jones tries a three. He didn't get the memo. Crowder, though, is fouled, and he'll go to the line.
And Jamail's looking at his hand. Like, you know, anytime a guy shoots an air ball, you got to look at your hand. Is there something going on there that made me miss that?
Mark Holmes with his second foul, so Jay Crowder to the line. He already has 15 points tonight. He had 17 against Green Bay, his previous high in a Marquette uniform. That should fall tonight the way he's going. And fall in a hurry, maybe before half.
Well, we haven't talked about it much, but Joe Fultz went down with a deep contusion to his knee several games ago, and there's been more minutes inside for guys, and Jay Crowder happy to pick up that slack and produce at that position.
This is the second, so Marquette's lead is 14. Crowder on a personal tear.
And you see this ball move. There's no screens on the ball. You know, there's no dribble penetration into the paint area. There's no post entry for Mississippi Valley. Just pass and jump shoot.
It'll be Mississippi Valley State's ball when we come back, but lately it has been the Jay Crowder show. 3 after 3 as Marquette builds up a 14-point advantage, and then he takes it inside. Jay Crowder with 15 points, 11 in a row in one juncture, 3 for 3 on threes as Marquette has built up a 43-29 lead on Mississippi Valley State.
Drink deeply from the fountain of offensive dominance that is Jay Crowder.
Well, he gets the feeling. It's fun to watch as he's already surpassed his average, and as we mentioned a few moments ago, just 2 points off his season high of 17. And most importantly for Marquette, he took what was a pretty close game, and now they have a 14-point lead.
And you see the ball go right in to Crosby, and immediately Jay Crowder double teams.
And blocks. He's everywhere. Crowder up to 16 as they've changed the stats, so he's had an even better night already than what the last stat sheet had shown. Now Crowder working on defense. Can he keep Crosby out of there? Vanderblue helps out and strips it. Bites, double pump. Butler to Blue.
And Blue doing a great job of shielding the ball with his body. He saw Crosby coming over to help and able to extend and keep the defense away. He's got 8.
Well, we've talked about Jay Crowder offensively, but here he is on defense working.
Just scrambling in the post. Shot goes up. Boom! Out to half court. Start the break.
Well, he's feeling it. You can just tell the adrenaline rush that he has as Marquette now up 16. D'Angelo Jackson at the line. He's got 5 points so far tonight in his homecoming. Coming up at halftime on Sports 32, we'll have a Marquette feature, how you can give Marquette this holiday season. We'll look at the Big East showing in the top 10 and top 25. Also first half highlights and stats at half. And Jackson hits them both. So Marquette's lead is 14. Darian Donald, number 1, checking in for the Delta Devils for the first time tonight.
And now we're officially 12 deep from Mississippi Valley State.
Crowder. Now Devontae Gardner in. Only played in mop-up duty last 3 minutes or so on Saturday, as Buzz Williams says, just needs more consistency from him every day. Practice every play, and when he does that, he'll be on the floor more. And Buzz Williams says, hey, look, we know we need him in certain games in the Big East. That's the 9th turnover on the Delta Devils, but that Devontae Gardner has to just bring it a little more consistently.
Yep, both ends of the court, and not just him. A lot of guys vying for more playing time that have to bring it consistently if they want to see the point.
Just roots himself in there on the offensive end, and then they play inside out, and DJO gets the 3.
Paul Crosby's a big man, but Devontae Gardner's bigger, and he's going to go wherever he wants to.
11 for DJO as he's found the 3-point range. But Crosby shows off his shooting skills. And he's up to 11.
Little battle in there in the low post. Mississippi Valley State not sending a double team, letting the big guys play.
Butler misses. Well, if he can get the defensive end of the floor mastered, Gardner in his Marquette career can be very helpful just because of the body that you were talking about, Jim. It's a unique skill set that he has.
But the combination of a big body and very soft hands and great court vision, he knows where his teammates are and very capable of making passes and getting it in their hands in a position where they can do something with it.
Turnover by the Golden Eagles, so Mississippi Valley State gets it back, trailing by 14. Joyner handles, finds Donald. The 3, Crosby misses, and Devontae Gardner walls off the rebound. Butler pulls up and hits.
And again, we're seeing this from Mississippi Valley State. No screens on the ball, no paint touches, no post-entry passes, just passing around on the perimeter and shooting jump shots, and it's not very effective for them offensively right now.
9 points for Butler tonight. Crowder has 16. DJO with 11. Crosby up to 11 for the Devils. Crosby in the corner. And almost a turnover. Jackson saves it for them. The 3 is good. Straight up, Terrence Joyner.
Almost an inadvertent paint touch caused by nearly a turnover from Marquette led to the points.
Crowder tries another 3. First miss of the night. That hit his previous three.
If he would have blocked that one. Man.
And a three for D'Angelo Jackson. Mississippi Valley State within 10. Jackson has 10. Buzz Williams wants to talk about a late half situation here with 29.9 left. D'Angelo Jackson, former Milwaukee Pius star, lining up that three and it's running with the high step.
It's not complicated basketball. Terrence Joyner puts the ball on the floor, just a couple dribbles, gets into the paint area, forcing Marquette to collapse on him defensively. And that opens things up on the perimeter for D'Angelo Jackson to knock down that shot.
D'Angelo Jackson back home. 6'1" senior, and as we said, out of Pius, he's had some travels. Creighton, Green Bay, Fort Smith Community College in Arkansas, and then Mississippi Valley State to conclude his collegiate career this year.
Lots of gear.
Marquette can hold for virtually the last shot. There's 9/10 of a second difference. Shot clock, game clock. Yeah, they're not going to hold it. They're going to go in and score. Devontae Gardner, good, and a foul. Marquette will lead at half tonight, and they are 7-0 this season, 43-6 under Buzz Williams when they lead at half. This is one of the things we were talking about, Jim, about a lot to like about Gardner.
Yeah, he's not really overtly physical with his moves, just methodical. I'm going to the basket. I'm going. What are you going to do to stop me? Are you going to send a double team? No, then I'm going to keep going. And next thing you know, Paul Crosby's got his second foul, and Devontae Gardner's taking a shot 2 feet from the basket. Take that every time.
I don't know if you share this feeling that I have, but I think at least once this Big East season, he's going to help you win an important game.
Yeah, I think he will, because he creates a lot of problems for teams defensively. He's a very difficult player to handle in the post, not just because he's so big and has such a good back-to-the-basket game, but send your double teams. He makes smart decisions and good passes out of the post, and that's what's going to be the double whammy and really hurt you.
But you won't be on the floor if you can't defend for Buzz Williams. We know that. Marquette gets it back, and they'll have a chance for another shot before half to build on the lead. DJO out to Bikes for three. He's fouled on the three with 1.8 seconds left.
2 3-pointers getting fouled in the first half. You don't see that in an entire game very often.
And on top of that, you commit the foul in front of your coach and your own bench. That's not a good thing.
And you can see Coach Woods over there saying, hey, contest, get your hands up, but play without fouling on that shot.
Bikes builds on Marquette's season high for points in a first half. They're up to 54 with a chance for 2 more.
Well, it shouldn't come as a surprise. We talked about the pace of the game that Mississippi Valley State likes to play. They like to get up and down the floor. Marquette certainly not adverse to that kind of basketball, so not surprisingly this score is a reflection of that.
Bikes converts. Jackson short at half. So Marquette shakes off a sluggish start, fueled by Jay Crowder's outburst. Marquette leading Mississippi Valley State 56-40 at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Our halftime programming straight ahead. Halftime at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Marquette against Mississippi Valley State. Well, Christmas means giving. And now a special message from Marquette University about the campaign Give Marquette.
I love
Halftime at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Marquette against Mississippi Valley State. Well, Christmas means giving, and now a special message from Marquette University about the campaign Give Marquette.
I loved my Marquette experience when I was an undergraduate.
So many memories that pop into my mind.
Blue and gold.
Wales on Wells.
The friends I made here on campus.
Rivalry with Notre Dame.
Brooks Memorial Union.
Greeby's Bakery.
David Strass Hall.
The block parties.
The ham and egger.
The sounds of those buses roaring up and down Wisconsin Avenue.
The sound of cheering.
The carillon.
Ring out a Hoya.
Marquette is definitely a tough school academically.
I found Marquette to be very challenging.
Look at the mission of Marquette.
The people that come, that graduate from Marquette, really do end up going out and becoming better people.
I'm planning on going back to El Salvador for a year.
I do a lot of volunteer work.
Habitat for Humanity.
Campus ministry. Literacy services.
Hunger cleanup.
After I graduate from engineering, I am going to dental school here at Marquette.
In the long term, I'd like to pursue a career in
financial services.
Manufacturing management.
Become the vice president of communications.
Receive my MBA so that I can enter a management track.
I'm excited about my degree. I'm excited about the career I'm going to pursue.
A lot of people I know wouldn't be able to even be at Marquette without their scholarship aid.
The scholarship aid that I've received is very important to me.
Without the financial package that I have, I wouldn't be at Marquette.
It makes a huge difference in what we experience and what we learn.
These are good students
who want to go out into the world and
make a difference in their community,
in their workplace, in their families, in their churches.
I just can't emphasize enough how important it is
to dig down and find just that little piece of magic that we can give to a current student.
Among the great people you must have at the university are great students.
Help us to bring those students onto campus.
What greater gift could you give to another human being than to say, hey, we're going to make your life a whole lot better by virtue of this vehicle called higher education.
Give Marquette.
It changes lives.
It certainly changed mine.
When our halftime programming continues, we'll check out the Big East making a big splash in the top 10 and the top 25 when we come back to the Bradley Center. Halftime at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Marquette with a 16-point lead on Mississippi Valley State, 56-40. Dennis Krause with Jim McIlvaine, the former Marquette star. Let's catch you up to date on some of the Big East news and notes, and let's start with the UConn women because they've done it again. They won tonight, so that's number 89. That eclipses the mark of 88 set by John Wooden's UCLA men's teams in the early 70s.
I view the men's and women's as different records, though, and I don't think there needs to be an asterisk next to either one. Tremendous accomplishment by the Husky women, and I don't think they're going to lose. You know, people say they won't lose until Maya Moore leaves. They might not lose after that. I mean, they're really, really good.
Let's talk about Big East and the men's conference because before the season started, people were saying maybe the Big East is down a little bit. This is the Big Ten's year. Well, my goodness, look at the top 10 and how the Big East is half the top 10.
And Connecticut had that early run in the holiday tournament where they did extremely well against some very good competition and really set the tone. Kimball Walker having a phenomenal breakout season. And Syracuse, Pittsburgh, always tough in the conference. Villanova as well. And Georgetown having another one of those banner years.
Let's break it down by conference as far as the top 25. And you can see that Big East takes a back seat to absolutely nobody right now.
That's just sheer numbers. But, you know, the SEC and the ACC aren't that far behind. And, you know, before too long, all these conferences will have 16, 18, 20 teams in them. But right now, just the sheer numbers of the Big East dictate that they're going to have a lot of really good teams year in and year out.
And you know what else that says? Marquette had better be ready because the conference games are coming up. When we come back to halftime at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, we'll have first half highlights and stats as Marquette right now enjoying a 16-point lead on Mississippi Valley State. Marquette up 16 on Mississippi Valley State, 56-40 halftime at the Bradley Center with Jim McElvain. I'm Dennis Krause. Well, Darius Johnson-Odom came into this game really struggling on threes this season, under 30%, but 3 for 4 in that first half.
When you shoot almost 50% from the three-point line on the season, you know you're a capable three-point shooter. It was just a matter of time before his shots started falling for him. Unfortunately for Mississippi Valley State, it's starting to fall for him tonight.
11 points for DJO in the first half, including those 3 threes. But the main story of the first half for Marquette was an offensive explosion from Jay Crowder, who's one off his season high already, has 16.
Yeah, very versatile player for Marquette. He can score from inside, but look at that. Knocks it down. He shoots it so well. He's got such great form. Loves that shot from the top of the key. Knocks it down consistently, whether it's his first shot in the game or not. And he just hits one after another. You've got to make some adjustments defensively when a player gets on fire like that, and you don't see the double team coming, and I don't understand that.
Also working hard on defense with that spike. Well, the halftime stats brought to you by AirTran Airways. Go, there's nothing stopping you. What do you see, Jim?
Well, I see Marquette hanging in there with the rebounds, but the number that's not up there right now is the turnovers. 9 turnovers for Mississippi Valley State. Marquette with 15 assists on 20 field goals, but those 9 turnovers are what hurts the Mississippi Valley State, because every time they get an opportunity, if they cough it up, that can lead to points at the other end, and as a result, you got 15 points off turnovers for Marquette, just 3 for Mississippi.
Milwaukee Pius product D'Angelo Jackson leading Mississippi Valley State with 10. Second half tip ahead from Milwaukee. Whole lot of Jay Crowder in that first half for Marquette as they lead Mississippi Valley State 56-40. Just about ready to start the second half. Leading scorers for the respective teams. Paul Crosby with 11 with the scoring honors for the Delta Devils. D'Angelo Jackson from Milwaukee Pius with 10. The aforementioned Jay Crowder with 16, one off his season high for Marquette. And DJO with 11, including 3 of 4 on 3. Settle in for a good second half as Marquette coming into this game at 8-3. Mississippi Valley State at 1-9. Vanderblue inbounds right in front of us.
And these plays out of timeouts or at the beginning of halves are always interesting for me because the coaches have the opportunity to set up whatever they want offensively and defensively. And it's neat to see who executes better.
Just joining us, Reggie Smith, Junior Cadogan, not here because of illness, so that limits the rotation and options for Buzz Williams. DJO. Jimmy Butler able to get it back to Vanderblue. Vander staying with it, saves it, but to Mississippi Valley State. And D'Angelo Jackson blocked by TJO.
Elevation. And you see Dwight Bikes hustle down there to get that position. And in a way, that really helped Darius Johnson-Odom make that play because it forced D'Angelo Jackson to take off, and he left early. And once you're up in the air, you're fully committed.
As a 7-footer who had his share of blocks in his career, that has to be one of the sweetest moments in basketball. It has to be emasculating to the guy that you blocked that shot.
It's a split-second thing that happens, and if you're quick enough and you have the reaction where you can do it, boy, it's a lot of fun to do. And he's up in the air, boom, go get him. And you can see just the quickness and explosion by Darius Johnson-Odom.
Well, unfortunately, on that play, D'Angelo got dinged up.
Just his pride hurt.
Yeah, he got dinged up, and they're looking at him on the Mississippi Valley State bench, so we'll keep you updated there. Hopefully he can return in his homecoming. Had 10 in the first half, and certainly a big part of what the Delta Devils are trying to do. Joyner for three. Terrence Joyner.
And he can knock that one down. More than half of his shots are threes, so Marquette's certainly expecting him to look for that shot.
Blues jumper. Rims off. Joyner with a little stutter step. Turnover. Blue pressuring the defense is fouled as Jason Holmes will get the foul, his second.
And I'll tell you what I like about that with Vanderbloom. He identifies the two defenders and he chooses the bigger of the two and goes after that guy because he's less likely to be able to adjust on the run and try to make a defensive play, swipe at the ball, whatever. It's easier to go into his body and try to draw the foul than it is to risk a guard being a little more quicker with their reaction and being able to strip the ball or disrupt your shot.
I have to assume, Jim, that Blue's all-around game is conducive to the Big East, that he'll fit right into that conference.
Yeah, he certainly will. And you see game by game as he goes out and gets into more opportunities to make plays that he's just doing tremendous things with the ball and away from the ball.
Burwell had a chance at a corner three, but opted not to. And Marquette out of there with it. DJO. Nice lead for Jay Crowder, and that's a new season high. Marquette high for Crowder.
Darius Johnson-Odom dribbled through every single defender for Mississippi Valley State on the way to making that pass.
Crowder up to 18, surpassing the 17 he had against Green Bay. And a long way to go to build on that. Pipes got up in the air, but Burwell could not take advantage. Mismatch there. Pipes trying to guard the much bigger Jason Holmes, who's able to get inside.
Good handle for the big fella, too.
DJO tries another three. You bet.
Natural. Such confidence with that shot. It's good to see.
Not many will remember the non-conference struggles on the three if he can start to line them up like he is tonight in Big East play when it really counts. Marquette's lead at 17. Bikes long two, said one official. The one that was closest to it, doesn't matter, missed it. Mississippi Valley State led by as many as 6 very early. Now down 62 to 45. Jason Holmes reverses to Joyner. His three. Errant. EJO. For Jimmy Butler the hard way as it kind of ricocheted off some Delta Devils, and Jimmy's foul.
Jimmy Butler did a great job on that play. Really, Darius Johnson-Odom gets into the paint, struggles to get rid of the ball and try to get it to him, and Jimmy Butler making lemonade out of lemons.
Marquette leading by 17. Golden Eagles assistant coach Scott Monarch, a 3-time basketball letter winner at Mississippi Valley State, as you see him to the left of Buzz Williams right on your screen there. Graduated in 1990. Lots of ties to Mississippi Valley State, and I know that Buzz Williams delighted with his entire staff, including Scott Monarch. Jimmy Butler hits the first very smoothly as Otule and Williams come in.
Several substitutions for the Delta Devils as well.
That double-double that Jimmy had against Centenary was the 5th of his career. There'll be more to come in this senior year. Almost certainly. Hits them both, and Marquette up 19.
And still the full court pressure by Marquette.
And timeout taken by Mississippi Valley State, much to the delight of Buzz Williams, who loves to see that kind of work. That'll take us to a break with Marquette holding a 19-point advantage on Mississippi Valley State. Marquette averages 80 points per game. They're well on their way tonight to maybe hitting 100, as they've already scored 64, up 19 on Mississippi Valley State, and seeing an awful lot all over the floor from Darius Johnson-Odom.
Yeah, defensively off the ball, and then look at that. Goes by every single defender from Mississippi Valley State, dishes it off right at the end. Just a phenomenal job, playing with a lot of energy and enthusiasm tonight. The shot's falling for him. You got to feel good with the season struggles that he's had so far from long range.
Well, as you look at the breakdown right there, the most important thing, I think, is that 4 for 5 on threes, because I know that Marquette is built on defense, and understandably so. But if they're going to do anything in the Big East, DJO has got to start hitting threes, and he's done that tonight as Vanderblue comes off with the steal and then is fouled.
He not only has to hit those threes for himself, but for the team. Marquette, as well as their shooting from the floor, they've struggled a little bit so far this season, shooting from long range. And we talked about it during the last game, the departure of Maurice Acker, David Kubian, and Lazar Hayward. All three of those guys, really quality three-point shooters, and all three guys shoot high percentage three-point shots.
This is the end of a 5-game homestand for Marquette. So far, they're 3-1 with that loss to Wisconsin. Mississippi Valley State is ending in a 5-game, 11-day road trip, like the NBA, as Sean Woods has had them on the road. And Marquette's lead up to 21, the biggest of the night for the Golden Eagles. Pressure still on.
Unrelenting.
Tipped by Butler. Almost stolen by Blue. Joyner misses. Knocked out of bounds to Marquette.
Pretty shaky possession there for the Delta Devils. Great pressure by Marquette.
When we come back, we'll explain why Mississippi Valley State coach Sean Woods is linked to college basketball history. Stay with us.
Randomly selected towards your tuition on behalf of West Bend. The worst brings down our best. That's the silver line. Fans, please direct your attention to the student section. Tonight's job knocking, big knocking of the game. Tonight's big knocking is Mark Wahlberg.
Mississippi Valley State coach Sean Woods played on the Unforgettables, that Kentucky team in 1992 that played Duke in the memorable regional final at the old Spectrum in Philadelphia. This is Sean Woods putting Kentucky up by 1. They thought they had this thing won until that guy, Christian Laettner, on this legendary shot off the pass from Grant Hill. So he ends up being the hero that lives on through the years instead of this great play by Sean Woods.
Yep, Christian Laettner got all the commercials and endorsements, and Sean Woods is coach of Mississippi Valley State. He could have been on that commercial. What was that, vitamin water with Rick Pitino?
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Well, Sean Woods is still beloved in Lexington, though. That number 11 hanging from the rafters at Rupp Arena. That whole team, they were called the Unforgettables because that was what came out of the whole scandal, and they had the short numbers that they had for a while, and Rick Pitino patched together that program, and Sean Woods was a big part of that. And then they were returning to prominence in 1992 when they lost that game to Duke for the right to go to the Final Four. All right, back here with Marquette leading Mississippi Valley State 66-45. Dennis Krause, Jim McElvain, our unparalleled producer-director John Walsh, and a great crew on hand tonight in Milwaukee. Blue looks inside for O'Toole, knocked out of there. And Donald takes it all the way and scores. What a nice play there by Darian Donald, senior from Columbus, Mississippi.
There's always something to play for in the game, regardless of the score. Coaches often break these games down into timeout segments. And did we win that last segment between timeouts? And there's always things to build on, and effort and hustle are always a part of this. Players individually trying to get more time on the floor and prove their worth.
5 minutes into the second half with Marquette up 21. Limited numbers tonight because of illness. Reggie Smith, Junior Cadogan not with the team because of a virus.
Joe Fultz out with a knee injury.
Yep. Well, I hope he can play again. You don't want his Marquette career to be over. He's so linked to Buzz Williams and such a likable guy that the team loves.
You always want a player's career to end on their terms. And I've never heard of a player ending a career on their terms because of an injury.
Mississippi Valley State with 20 to shoot as they inbound. Mark Holmes is back in there. Number 30, the 6'6" sophomore from Chicago. D'Angelo Jackson, good to see him healthy, firing away at a 3, but missed. He was out for a little bit after that one block. O'Toole can't grab it. And instead, Paul Crosby wanted a whistle, didn't get it. Flailing away for one. It's the rebound, so another possession. Cross-court pass. And after all of that, a holding foul on Eric Williams as his second.
things just too easy right now for Mississippi Valley State. I wouldn't be surprised to see Devontae Gardner coming in for Chris O'Toole. That last post entry pass, Chris O'Toole dead behind the post, meaning his hand was not even contesting the passing lane. And coaches don't like to see that at all. For everything else that happens, the offensive rebounds, you've got to be there defending in the post. And look at that rebounding margin. I mean, that's just hustle and effort, and a lot of that falls on the big guys.
We pointed out in our open how Marquette, for the most part in their wins, has dominated the rebounding, but not so tonight. The Delta Devils have come in here from the south and scrapped their way to a rebounding advantage, although the numbers that count, a 19-point lead for Marquette. Count the most anyway. These are big minutes for Devontae Gardner. If you weren't with us in the first half, this is the guy who Buzz Williams wants to see some more consistency from, particularly on the defensive end. We've seen how nimble he is and talented on the offensive end around the basket, but consistent defensive effort is what they're looking for as Darian Donald stepped out of bounds.
And those are the kind of unforced, really mental errors that just drive coaches nuts. Know where you're at on the floor, know where your positioning is. There's almost no excuse for stepping on the sideline in a situation like that.
Do you remember, Jim, your freshman year at Marquette, when did you start to get it? When did it come together for you?
I don't know, parts of it seemed to come very quickly, but I think it was late in my freshman season. I had a pretty decent game at Butler, and it just felt like it did in high school. And I think that's the best way to equate it for these guys is I scored like I did in high school, I rebounded, I blocked shots, passed the ball, got steals, whatever. And you started playing at the same pace and the same speed as everybody else, and sometimes there's an adjustment there.
We saw Devontae Gardner on the offensive end. Here he is on the defensive end. Let's see if they called Devontae or Crowder for that foul as they were trying to keep Crosby out of there. Gardner got his first.
Apparently Devontae hit Crosby so hard he jarred him about 15 feet beyond the three-point arc.
Embellishment. Continue your thought though about Gardner. What do you see him really getting better at, and what areas does he really need to improve on?
Well, he's just got to take advantage of his body defensively, and I talk to young post players about this all the time. When you're using your body defensively and leaning on people and making them work for every step that they take on the court, it tires them out. It makes them less effective offensively, and he can use his body to his advantage in that regard. You know, he doesn't have to be this ultra quick player, but get the arm up and lean on that person, make them work for every bit of post position that they're trying to establish. And by the time that they get the ball, and if they're able to make a move on you, they're not going to have the same level of energy to get that shot off as they would have if you just kind of stand behind them, let them do what they want.
Well, you can see as we speak about Devontae Gardner that he's getting some instruction from both Scott Monarch and Buzz Williams. Jamel Jones will await his turn to come back in for the shooter, Jimmy Butler. Mark Holmes got that foul, his second. Jimmy has a dozen tonight. And he'll exit momentarily as you get a good look at Jamel Jones. What do you see in Jones? I mean, obviously we talked about 11 points in 11 minutes on Saturday. He's coming on.
It's starting to click for him offensively. Defensively is where he's really got to focus in and understand, and you can see the wheels turning in his head as he's trying to make plays, and got scored on that time. You know, he wants to make the right play, but at this point he's still thinking the game a lot and not playing in terms of just natural reaction defensively. And when he gets more to that automatic sense where he just knows what to do and does it versus trying to think about what they told him and scouting and shoot around, he'll be a much more effective player defensively.
Jay Crowder scores to get to 20 points on the night. It was his spree in the first half that really broke this game open. Jones gets the steal, takes it up, and is fouled. And the foul called on Darian Donald.
Mississippi Valley State foul number 1, Darian Donald, first personal.
Part of the thing for a freshman, whether it's Gardner, whether it's Jones here at Marquette, whether it's anybody, is you have to build up that trust of the head coach for them to play you in a game that really means something.
Jimmy Butler can go out there and he probably wouldn't, but he could go out in back-to-back defensive possessions and make a mistake, and the coaching staff would still have a lot of confidence in him because they have a longer relationship and a lot more knowledge of his game and what he's capable of doing and how he helps the team. But when you have that limited background and experience with a coaching staff, it makes them a little more gun-shy with you, and you really have to go out of your way and make a lot of great plays to solidify your position there, because it's a lot easier for one bad mistake or two bad mistakes to tear all that down and set you back quite a bit.
Darting into the lane is Joyner. He's fouled. You know, I was thinking too, the contrast, Jim, between the freshman as Bikes gets his second foul and a transfer from junior college like Crowder. Buzz Williams has raved about how Crowder's been able to make the adjustment. Well, here's a guy who's played at a higher level than high school, who's older, he's more mature physically, emotionally. That's an easier adjustment than a kid who's 1 year out of high school.
It really is, and there's so many other factors that go into it, whether it's their high school coach and team or their AAU coach and team. You never know what kind of, I mean, coaches know because they do their background, but there's so much variance between what players are taught defensively, what kind of concepts they pick up, and as a result, you can have kids come into your program and you're trying to tell them what a shallow triangle is, and they have no idea what you're talking about, and say, I'm no good in geometry. Shallow triangle, come on.
We go to a break with Marquette leading Mississippi Valley State 74-52. Christmas week and the fans are loose and ready, excited. Marquette leading Mississippi Valley State 74-52. Hey, just in time for the holidays, it's the Sports 32 Roundtable Clip Show. I don't envy producer Tom Kurtz. He had to sift through the whole year and somehow came up with the most lively discussions and amusing moments, hopefully. And that airs tonight and tomorrow night, and you can also see it later this week, only on Sports 32. Back to live action. Marquette leading by 22.
And you see Mississippi Valley State in what looks like a 2-3 zone.
Inside for Crowder. That time, missed it. He hasn't done much of that tonight. Sean Woods is still up coaching every single possession. His team's down 22, but don't tell him that they're 1-9. And on their way to their 10th loss, it would appear. Paul Crosby. The out top three won't go for Jackson.
And a tough break that time for Jamel Jones. Boxing out his man. Was that one on Dwight Bikes? I thought that was Jamel Jones. Okay.
He got Bikes for his third.
Well, both of those guys doing what coaches always say. Find a body, put a body on somebody when the shot goes up, block them out, and they do that, and then the offensive player jumps for the ball, and you get blown with the whistle.
Crosby. It's what? You can't help but be impressed by him.
Yeah. And you can see why Coach Wood said if everything was in order for him in high school, he'd be in the Big Ten.
14 points tonight.
Marquette didn't double team that time. He was waiting for it, looking for it, trying to coax it. That's how you bust wide open that 2-3 zone. That foul line area very vulnerable. You get into the paint, it's almost game over. 16 for Darius Johnson.
He's hit the threes, and that time working inside. Coming up on 10 minutes to go in this one with Marquette leading 76-54. 5 to shoot. Jackson's got to go. Got to get it up there. And shot clock violation as Marquette's defense gets it done. That's the 15th turnover for the Delta Devils.
And that's almost inexcusable. Your bench is at that end of the court. They should be yelling and screaming at their guys. And I understand it's tough emotionally for a player to watch your team being down 22 points, but help your teammates out. You know, the bench is sullen.
Yes.
Melancholy.
Two very good words that you have shown your wordsmith ways from Marquette Education as Jimmy Butler scores underneath. And he has 15. When you're 1-9 and you've been on the road seemingly forever and you're down 24, I guess sullen would be an accurate word to describe your mood. And another turnover by the Delta Devils, who have lost some of their spirit from the first half. DJO, another three. And that's going to force Sean Woods to call a timeout and talk about it. Marquette has blown it wide open, up 27, as DJO 5 of 7 on threes. Let's take a look at Marquette in action here.
And, you know, I know Darius Johnson-Odom had a 29-point outburst, but you look at what he's doing offensively, making those passes, knocking down shots, and I think really this is his most complete game offensively and defensively, probably his best game of the season so far. You know, even with that 29-point game hanging out there, a lot of that was the first half of that Milwaukee game, and Darius Johnson-Odom, just a really balanced effort here tonight.
19 points, 15 of them coming on the 5 threes that he's hit in 7 attempts. So that'll help that three-point shooting percentage that has been way too low for DJO's taste and for Marquette's taste, as you look at the fans enjoying this one. Back to action. And the penetration all the way with determination by Philando Jones.
Too easy. Doesn't matter what time of the game it is, what the score is. You can't let that happen.
Crowder, 2 more, and he's up to 22.
Almost too easy going right back at you.
The pass almost went in. That would have been the play of the night. Mississippi Valley State retains possession. Whistle underneath, and foul on the Delta Devils. I'm going to call that on Orlando Smith, his second.
And Jimmy Butler blocked out like he was supposed to, and Smith tried to go over him and got caught.
Marquette shooting over their season average tonight at a healthy 55%. A lot of contact there between the two number 23s, Bikes and Philando Jones.
Philando Jones a little upset. He thought the ball got knocked loose, and it was pretty much free game. He had as much a right to it as anybody else, and disappointed with that call, I'm sure.
Bonus situation. Bikes at the line. 17th foul of the Delta Devils.
You can see the pieces to the puzzle there for Coach Woods, and you've got to think when they come off of this road trip, when they get into conference play, as much as they didn't like getting throttled all over the country, it's going to help them. They're not going to face that level of competition in conference play, and they've got some very talented players. Very athletic team, very quick, and good all-around game.
Offensive rebound by Smith. Gets it out of there to Crosby. D'Angelo Jackson. And a nice scoop shot by Philando Jones, who scores in bunches.
And when you see possessions like that, that's got to be encouraging for Mississippi Valley State. They know if they can put together more of those, they're going to have a really successful season in spite of what's happened early on for them.
When we come back, Vanderblue will be at the line. Under 8 minutes to go at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, with Marquette in command of Mississippi Valley State. Marquette up big on Mississippi Valley State, under 8 minutes to go. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Time Warner Cable Sports 32 and Marquette University. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Time Warner Cable Sports 32. Each team with 4 players in double figures. Jay Crowder leads all scorers with 22. DJO 19. Jimmy Butler 15 for Marquette. Vanderblue with 11. Paul Crosby leading the visiting Devils with 14. As you look at Jay Crowder, who has set a season high in a Marquette uniform for Mr. Crowder. Vanderblue, his season high is 21. He hits the first. He's well short of that, but has played well again tonight. We were talking about freshmen and the adjustment that they have to make. This is a freshman who I think has come in from day one and seamlessly fit in, and I think a lot of that might have had to do with that Team USA U18 team and the competition that he had there.
Well, that certainly helped quite a bit, but even before that, he's a pretty talented player. Played against, kids these days in high school, with the way AAU basketball is and the exposure and the traveling that these kids do, they play against some pretty top flight competition. A lot of them do before they ever get to college.
Came from the very high-powered Madison Memorial program, which has had a run of great success in recent years as Jimmy Butler scores.
Only because they're not in the same division as Racine St. Catherine's.
The old biases are still there.
Yeah.
Not any pretense of being neutral. You think about the players that have come through Madison Memorial. My goodness, dating back to Wesley Matthews. And we've had Nankiville, Naaman, Vanderblew. Eric Williams back in for Marquette.
St. Catherine's has players at Division I programs all over the country. They got guys playing professionally in Europe. And you can go all the way back to Jim Chones. Come on.
Well, Jim Chones, certainly one of my favorites, and maybe the best. I'm going to say this with Jim McElwain sitting right here. Maybe the best big man in Marquette history.
Say that. I'm not even the best big man named Jim from my high school.
You've been in his shadow at both places.
Yep. It's all right. Good shadow to be in. Good company.
And if economic circumstances of his family hadn't dictated that he leave Marquette early in those days of hardship and jumping out early to the ABA and the NBA, who knows what kind of numbers Jim Chones would have put up in his Marquette career.
I'll tell you one thing. I think it might have been tough for UCLA to win all those championships in a row because Marquette might have given them a really good run for their money with Chones on that team.
D'Angelo Jackson scoring for Mississippi Valley State to make it 89-63. He's up to 12 points, the former Pius star. Well, you look at this game tonight, Jim, and it's really the last game for Marquette that they can kind of experiment before you get to Vanderbilt next week in a non-conference game. And then January 1st, bright and early, 10 in the morning, Big East tips off here against West Virginia. When you see that upcoming schedule, that's what's ahead.
You look at these teams and their records: 8-2, 8-2, 8-2, 11-1, 10-1. I mean, that's not easy basketball. These are all really, really good teams, and that's what the Big East is. If you can, and that's why if you can survive playing in this league, come out with 19 or 20 wins on the season, you're almost a lock for the NCAA tournament.
About 6 minutes left with Marquette up. With the limited numbers that Buzz Williams has tonight, I'm sure he's walking a balancing act as far as how long to play certain guys. He has to play some out of necessity because of the illnesses and injuries. Tipped in by Eric Williams.
Good hustle and second effort by Jake Crowder, keeping that alive, and Eric Williams just lurking around the basket actively.
D'Angelo Jackson straight on three, and he has 15. I know this is special for him, playing on this floor, the town where he grew up, and he's acquitted himself nicely. Shook off a little bit of an injury earlier in the game.
Marquette really working the ball, making Mississippi Valley State defend them at every position. And you'll hear this coaching staff talk about side, top, side. Getting the ball from one side to the top to the other side. Going back and forth. Every time you do that, it seems like the defense breaks down just a little bit more, or you get that many more looks at seams or opportunities to attack the basket.
Substitutions for Buzz Williams as he mixes and matches here. He's got Blue, DJO, Jones, Williams, and Gardner on the floor. Jones, three is in and out. Marquette will improve to 9-3. Mississippi Valley State will drop to 1-10. And that game at Vanderbilt will be interesting because of the unique bench and floor situations that they have there.
They recruited me pretty hard coming out of high school. That was a big selling point because it's pretty much unique now. It was commonplace back in the day when Dennis was going through college. But nowadays everybody has the benches on the sidelines. So it's not only a challenge for the players, it's tough for the coaches.
The benches are behind the basket.
Yeah.
Which is, for those that don't know, at Vanderbilt. And it's odd to watch a game there because you're just not used to seeing the coaches standing up in that area.
That whole building is odd. It's like they kept adding on levels of seating as they needed more. They got like 70 scoreboards in that building so everybody can see the scoreboard from at least one scoreboard from their seat.
Okay, let's talk about Buzz's bunch because it is something that is very important to Buzz Williams. And before the game here at the Bradley Center tonight, and they did it also last weekend, these special needs kids and their families out on the floor interacting with the players, coaches, and staff of the Marquette basketball program. Buzz Williams has said this is one of the things that he wants to be known for, not just coaching basketball and winning games, but really having his team and his program involved in helping others.
And it's great for these guys to have this interaction with these kids who really are going through tremendous struggles in their lives, because you lose the game to Wisconsin, you think your world is coming to an end, and then you meet a kid who might not be around in a year because he's fighting cancer. And it really helps put things in perspective for everybody, coaches, players alike.
Devontae Gardner scores. I also like the fact that it includes the families because it is an ordeal for the entire family as Gardner continues to impress on the offensive end for Marquette. And the possession arrow to Marquette here.
And usually when there's this much of a point differential and it's late in the game, things start to get a little unruly or scrappy. It hasn't really gotten that way yet. I think in part because both of these teams play so deep in their rosters. Marquette's short-handed, and the guys that are on the floor generally see a lot of minutes. And Mississippi Valley State, they'll go 12 deep. So it's not getting quite as sloppy as you might expect it might at this point in the game.
Just watching Mississippi Valley State on defense this possession, they're still playing very hard, as that is good and a foul. As Jamel Jones connects, you look at a team that's down almost 30, but they're still working hard for their coach, Sean Woods, and he is as well. But nevertheless, Jones and Marquette in complete control. Marquette leading Mississippi Valley State 95-67. Dennis Krause with Jim McElvain at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Look at what the Big East is doing so far this season, leading all conferences with 7 teams in the top 25, and remarkably, Jim, 5 in the top 10.
Yeah, it's a very stout conference, although Big 12, Big 10, especially the Big 10, really projected prior to the start of the season to be the conference. And the ACC conspicuous in their absence there. Duke obviously contending for another national title, but injuries and all different kinds of things factor into this, and the season usually plays itself out and things shake out. But again, just the sheer numbers of teams in the Big East and the number of great teams dictates that they're always going to be in the conversation.
Here's the thing that's scary too: that the bottom end is getting better. Rutgers is getting better. You look at some big-time coaches as Eric Williams scores there. You got Steve Lavin now at St. John's, who's rejuvenating them. A new coach at DePaul. I don't think that they'll be down for very long with the Chicago recruiting base, and so that's going to make the conference even deeper and stronger.
South Florida continues to improve, although they seem to have a bit of a setback. I heard last week Gus Gilchrist left the team for some reason, so get the drama sorted out. He's a very talented player, can help that team.
Marquette with 98 points. That's a season high, surpassing 97 against Prairie View A&M. Put back there by Paul Crosby. And Marquette with a chance to hit 100 for the first time since December 27th of last year against Presbyterian, as popular walk-on Rob Frozina checks in.
18 career points. Looking to get into Dubland. See that? He signaled 3. I want a 3. That's what he.
Is that what that was for?
Yes. I would like a 3, please.
The crowd would love it. You know that. Every time he touches it, they want him to shoot.
Doesn't matter if he's 40 feet from the basket. Shoot it, Rob. Shoot it. Just because he's a walk-on doesn't mean he doesn't go through the practices, isn't as disciplined as the rest of these guys. He knows exactly what's expected of him, just as every other player does. And the minutes that he gets on the court, he makes very smart basketball plays.
Eric Williams with the foul, and that will send Paul Crosby to the line for Mississippi Valley State. Marquette with 98 points tonight. You see in the record book some of their 100-plus scoring efforts.
I remember that Delaware State game.
Big night for you?
Big night for everybody. 105 points.
Eric Williams. Marquette hits 100.
Baseline jumper. That's his shot.
Came in averaging 80 as a team, and now to 100. So that average will just go up among the nation's leaders in points per game as D'Angelo Jackson is fouled. We are at the exact 2-minute mark. Eric Williams with his 4th foul.
And he tried to stay vertical and avoid the foul, but just got caught deep and got penalized for it.
Jackson hits the first. I want to take just a second while we got 2 minutes left before things get too frenetic at the end of our broadcast to thank our entire crew, producer, director John Walsh. This is the last of the 6 games that we will locally produce for Sports 32. Several more Marquette games during the Big East season will be on Sports 32, produced by ESPN Regional. And a special thanks to Jim McElvain. Always fun to work with you. You'll be going back to the radio side.
Thank you, Dennis.
Williams has trouble inbounding, gets it to Vanderblue. Sports 32, your home for Marquette basketball. And it will continue that way through the Big East season. Because of the limited numbers at guard tonight, Vanderblue putting in some big minutes, and he's fouled.
And it's, well within the sloppy range, and as a player, you just have to be aware of that the game is not out of control, but players get frustrated sometimes in these late game situations, and it can be precarious and dangerous, and you just want to make sure that nobody gets hurt. Everybody gets out in one piece.
when you played, did you find games around the holidays difficult, just as far as maybe family and distractions? And
they're, you know, as much as coaches would like players to be able to spend time with their families, the team is your family, and the holidays almost bring more focus because you don't have to worry about your classes. You just go to practice every day. And you go to film session and you watch the walk-ons snare rebounds, and it's, you know.
Rosina got the rebound, and this time he misses the shot.
Got to use the backboard. He knows that, though.
Donald for three, and he hits it. Marquette students on holiday break. Devontae Gardner has it slapped away by Crosby as we hit 1 minute left. On the bust out, a foul by Vanderblue as he helps up Kevin Burwell, who was fouled on that play.
And you can see the sloppiness of the game when it gets to this point. You know, the ball gets knocked loose, transition, slapping at it, and it's not that there's intentionally poor play or hard fouls. It's just these guys have been playing for 39 minutes and they're tired, and their bodies aren't able to react to situations the way that they were at the beginning of the game. So that's why you worry that guys might end up getting injured in a play like that, where at the beginning of the game, not the case.
So Marquette will go 3-0 all time against Mississippi Valley State. This was their first meeting since an 87-62 Marquette victory in 1991.
I remember that one too.
Yeah. It's all coming back to you now.
Alfonso Ford, 4th all-time leading scorer in NCAA history. That's just for the men. I'm not including the women on that.
Eric Williams almost tipped it in. Marquette keeps it with 40 seconds left. Season high in points. Hitting 100 for the first time, and now up to 102. Rosina, under instructions from his coach to use some time, not hoist up a three to meet the crowd's urges.
Although not adverse to getting fouled and sent to the line if that's what the defense demands of him.
5 to shoot. They can't run all the time off, so let's see if Vander gets one off, and he does, but they say after the violation, so that three will not count. Mississippi Valley State will get the last 4 seconds. Burwell misses, and Marquette gets its 9th victory of the season. Buzz Williams with a handshake for Sean Woods. Marquette defeats Mississippi Valley State 102-77 to improve to 9-3. The Delta Devils drop to 1-10. When we come back, we'll hear from Darius Johnson Odom, who was clicking from three-point range tonight. So stay with us.
Way to work. No, we haven't got final stat sheet yet.
Nice game. That's what you had. walk me through the rest here, John?
This is Mike Jankowski, proud graduate of Marquette University. Thanks for supporting head coach Buzz Williams, your Marquette.
Can you count to 10 just to give us a mic level? Not hearing that. Should we give?
You want here?
No.
I'll give him my headset.
Hold on, she's just checking now.
One.
There we go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Marquette defeats Mississippi Valley State 102-77 tonight here at the Bradley Center. Dennis Krause and Jim McIlvaine joined courtside by Darius Johnson-Odom, who had a very impressive evening, 19 points, 7 of 12 shooting, including 5 of 7 on threes. Congratulations, and I know you're back in that comfort zone at least tonight with the threes.
Yeah, I felt like my teammates found me a lot of running in transition, getting me open shots, getting me good looks. And I think we did a good job as far as getting other people good looks. You know, we had 26 assists and 12 turnovers, so that was a good night for us.
We're going to roll some highlights of you in action and maybe talk with Jim a little bit just about how elusive that three-point range has been this year after you were so good last year. But you feel like it's coming on?
Yeah, I feel like it's coming on. As a good shooter I am, I got to just keep shooting. And tonight, I was in rhythm. I felt like I had a good pace in the game tonight, looking for others, doing other things for teammates. And I thought that really helped us down the stretch this game.
You knew Mississippi Valley State was a team that liked to play up-tempo. Did you think that was going to play to your favor offensively and give you some opportunities to get some quick shots?
Knowing that Mississippi Valley State has tremendous guards that can all score, I think that did help us a little bit in our favor. They all crashed the board, so it helped us get in transition more and get more easy buckets. So I thought that really helped us tonight.
You've got Vanderbilt next week, which is a challenge, SEC team, and then the Big East, which we know is always loaded. Do you feel like this team is ready for that?
Yes. Going in these last 2 games, we were mentally preparing this whole week, trying to get back on track from the Wisconsin game. And I think the guys have really came to work in practice, preparing each other, trying to get better on the court as teammates and off the court as teammates. So I'm glad for the guys to be working this hard, and I think we mentally and ready for the game next week against Vanderbilt.
Darius Johnson-Odom, thank you for your time and congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
Marquette rolls. Let's take a look at some of the final stats from this game as they beat Mississippi Valley State. And Jim McIlvaine, the numbers.
Well, they caught up to them on the boards and passed them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Good for Marquette. That happened late in the second half, but they shot the ball extremely well. You see they shot well from three-point range. They got to the foul line a lot, and when they got there, they knocked down the shots. That's going to be important. And points in the paint are solid numbers, but it's the assists and the turnovers. Marquette, 26 assists, and Mississippi Valley State, 17 turnovers. It's plagued them all season long. It was a problem for them again tonight.
Jay Crowder led Marquette with 22, DJO with the 19, Jimmy Butler with 17, Crosby and D'Angelo Jackson 17 apiece to lead Mississippi Valley State. Well, for Jim McIlvaine and our entire Sports 32 crew here at the Bradley Center, I'm Dennis Krause saying so long for the final time this season. Marquette over Mississippi Valley State 102-77. Catch Inside Marquette Basketball with Buzz Williams tonight at 10:30 and all season long. The proceeding has been a special presentation of Time Warner Cable Sports 32. Merry Christmas from Milwaukee.